So I had a couple students asking about this or talking about it in general. And this feeling that when you're wrestling, right? So we're kind of here and we've got to start making connection, right? So we walk in and we're checking shoulders and we're getting to collar ties and bicep ties and maybe even progressing through to underhooks. But we have these positions that we're seeking out, right? So especially in fighting, but still in wrestling, double collar tie is really nice, really advantageous. Double underhooks is like, supposed to be the top of the food chain. We've got, our Russian tie when we're behind the arm. And this theme started emerging in the conversation where people were saying they were not having the success they wanted finishing from those so-called dominant positions. And so what happened was they started, if they got to double underhooks, they weren't cashing that in for a finish. And then maybe their opponent would pummel one arm back in, and now they're more in this over-under position, and then they were able to win from that position. So what's happening? It's a couple different things, and you see it in every single combat sport, that it takes effort and skill to achieve these dominant positions, right? So just like getting to mount in jiu-jitsu, it takes effort and skill to consistently get mount on your opponent. It takes effort and skill to consistently get double underhooks, and it's work. And my opponent is always going to be focused on denying these positions, and then when I achieve them, they know that they are losing in positionally, so they're going to batten down the hatches defensively. So the second I achieve double underhooks, aside from some guys who are really good for double underhook offense, no, it's not good. Aside from people who are money in that position, generally speaking, once I get here, my opponent's moving to defensive measures, right? Whereas maybe if we're in this over-under, my opponent's thinking about offense, and I'm thinking about offense, so I might have a better opportunity to get in on some of my attacks. So what happens is we start not achieving those dominant positions because we're like, oh, well, it's better when I can be in that interplay where they're still being offensive, right? It's the same thing when we're striking and we're not touching them and they're not touching us. We're like, oh, okay, well, let's just wade into punching range so we can start exchanging. And it's like, man, I hit them so much more when I'm open to being hit. And that's true, and that can be beneficial sometimes, but we want to be able to execute from dominant positions. So just like when we achieve mount, we need to immediately improve the mount. It's the same thing that when we get to double unders, we can't just hang out and hold and be like, oh, I got the position, I'm gonna win now. I gotta win the position too. So generally speaking, I'm gonna get off to the side right away. And now I can start knee bumping and attacking, and that's where I get my advantage. So it's not just the double underhooks, it's using the double underhooks. In the same way we get to mount, we've got to immediately pressure and start attacking the arms and attacking the neck to open up the opportunities. So we've got to drill either improving and holding the position or executing offense immediately, right? So a lot of times we're here and we get to the double underhook, boom, and then we lock up our hands and wait and see what he does, right? A lot more often we want to underhook and shut with that underhook as we go, right? Right to offense. Same thing with our Russian tie. We've got to work that as we're peeling it into place, boom, we're working right to our offense, right? So we should have our stuff that we do, but the Russian tie is a setup into a dominant position. Boom. So I set up dominant position. Cool. If I wait here, they're going to start freaking out and, just doing all these delaying tactics. So the fact that I'm achieving this Russian is great, but now I've got to be quicker of bop. The Russian only gave me the opportunity. The Russian created the angle, the dominance, the control over the armpit and the tricep, right? That just means I have the opportunity to work stuff. So we got to work on the chain. If we're not working on the chain, then when we get to the Russian, boom, boom, what do we got to do? We got to lock that grip. We got to get head in place. We got to hang on the arm. We got to feed him the microphone. We got to play with knee bumps. We got to play with trips and start making it miserable and start testing balance. But if we're not constantly working, we're going to have issues. When we get double unders, I can't stay. I got to be pushing, right? And now the natural rhythm of my opponent's feet are going to give me opportunities to attack, and I got to constantly stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. So if we're not winning from dominant positions, we need to drill winning from dominant positions, not just drop back into a less dominant position, right? You'll see it all the time with people early in their jiu-jitsu journey. They'll be like, oh, I can't finish from mount, so I'm just gonna dismount to side control and try to submit from there, right? That can be functional, but when you're trying to improve a skill, we've got to get to the position, dominate the position, and either get and go, like take the position and immediately attack, or know how to progress slowly and surely into that position. But the answer is almost never to ignore basic physics and body mechanics. Like underhooks are going to be strong. So when we get double underhooks, this is strong, strong, strong. Wherever we're locking, high lock, low lock, mid lock, it doesn't matter. We know that we've got leverage and we've got grip. So we got to use that natural leverage. We've got to take advantage of common situations.